Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Coulter Wonkite. I'm already into the 420, damn it.
Legacy 420 has medicinal and recreational products down to a science, literally. With 2 biochemists on staff and a chief scientific advisor, every product is tested in the Legacy 420 laboratory. Legacy 420, Niagara. Open 9 to 9 every day. Visit legacy420.com.
So what are you doing? Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.
I blame it on industry. I blame it on my own hypocrisy. It's education and politicians. No one's willing to step up and speak.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PACE Radio Show. My name is Al Graham, and we are coming to you live. Yes, as always, we are live here at 420radio.ca. My joint host tonight, yes, joint hosts, I gotta say that was plural, or one of them may be wearing 2 hats anyways, but more on that in a minute. Debbie Stutlz-Giffin is here tonight, and she is a guest who has fought the law for helping patients with access to their cannabis medications. But before we learn more, I'm going to have, as usual, a chat with Deb, and tonight our chat is going to involve an announcement that we're going to make. And in doing so, we are also joined by our producer, Al Rapp, and Marijane Baker of the 420 Radio Show. Hello, everyone. Are you there?
Hi.
Hey.
Hey there.
All right, we're all here. That's good. All 4 of us. All right. I don't know. Who wants to speak up? We didn't discuss that part.
Hey, it's your show, Al.
My show. Okay. All right. What is happening here tonight is Marijane Baker and Debbie Stutlz-Giffin are in essence, they're going to switch spots. Marijane Baker is going to join us here on the PACE Radio Show on a rotating basis as a joint host. And Debbie is going to join Al on the 420 Radio Show.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep. With Marcel and Darcy as well. They're sticking around as well.
Good. That's good. Now, Debbie's a long-time joint host here on the program. She's been with me since the very beginning, haven't you, Debbie?
Absolutely. And has that been 4 years now, Al?
No, we are actually a little more than 5 years now. The fall of 2013 is when the PACE Radio Show got started.
Wow.
Yeah, a little more than 5 years, and you took a little bit of time off there due to family health situations, but you came back, and it was great to have you come back. And you're leaving us here on the PACE Radio Show, but you're not leaving the 420 radio.ca programming, the networking. We're all still part of the family.
For sure, and Lord knows I may cycle through again, Al. You never know.
That's right, and there's always the need of updates from the East Coast, so we know where we can reach you.
For sure, I'd be available probably most any Wednesday night that you'd like to do some updating.
Good. And to you, Marijane, welcome aboard. Thank you for being involved in this. I'm sure you're going to have some very interesting guests that we look forward to, and the conversations as well.
Thanks, Al. I look forward to being here for sure.
Yeah. And Al?
Yes.
Would you like to say anything?
Well, I'd like to mix things up a little bit. So, I mean, when life throws curveballs at you and you have to make some changes, there's no reason that you can't just make little changes as opposed to big changes.
That's right.
So, I mean, Marijane's a part of the family here, and now you get to experience what I've been experiencing for the last, what, now almost 2 years? Year and a half?
I don't know is that a positive comment?
Oh, yes,
or
of course it is. Of course it is.
That's funny. Well, I guess, Al, you'll just have to make your own determination on that.
Well, you know, let's say, also what people have to realize is we all of us get together quite a bit during the summer and do events and stuff together. So it's not like Al hasn't worked with Marijane, and Debbie's been on my show I don't know how many times over the last 12 years, 10 years or so. So
yeah,
you know,
more than a handful.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. So it's this is something that helps both of our hosts involved in this,
and it's a natural transition.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. You know, both of you deal with finding guests, and both of you are involved in conversations.
Yep.
So.
And Marijane gets to go to once a month, and Deb gets to go to 4 times a month.
Hey, you know what else is exciting?
What's that?
The 420 radio show then becomes 75% East Coast.
Yeah. What's
next?
I
thought about that too.
I might have to move.
Oh, don't go that far.
Bring your snowshoes.
Yes, 420 radio show, the East Coast edition.
No.
Well, there's a thought.
No.
Oh, come on, Al. Don't be a party pooper.
I'm having way too much fun in Hamilton with Paula and the lounge. So. Yep.
Beats hiding behind your baggie, what?
Well, you know what? I've been hiding behind my baggie for 20 years, so, you know.
Yeah.
It's time for these feet to fly and dance.
Right. I think there's going to be, for Marijane coming this way, with your show, there's 4 or 5 of you involved in the conversation, where with us, there's 2 or 3 of us, and there's quite often we're, the joint hosts will have a pile of questions, and I'll just sit back and be like one of our listeners and just remember to jump in at the commercial time.
Hey, you know what? I can have 10 people in the conversation at once, and I will do that if I can.
Yeah, that's right. The 2 shows are different.
Different, but the same.
But they're the same, correct.
Same format, but different people and different way of going with things. That's all.
Correct, exactly. Yeah. So, but other than that, anybody else have anything they want to mention on this?
I'd just like to say I'm looking forward to experiencing the next transition of my show with Deb. You've always been a great guest, and now you'll just have to come and swear with us all the time.
No. Keep them in line, Deb.
Oh, no. She's got the worst mouth of the most of us.
Oh.
Well, that's what I mean. She'll be putting you in line.
That's right.
I just don't use that voice as much in public. Al got to hear it at Harvest Fest firsthand.
Yes. It was music to my ears. Yeah. But anyways,
most people look at me in sheer and utter shock and amazement sometimes when I open my mouth and what falls out of it.
Marijane, I think this is going to be a very good fit for you, and you're always welcome to pop around. So.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm looking forward to all the events that we're going to have this summer, and it's going to be lots of fun.
Oh, yes, for sure. There's no doubt about that.
My poor little feet. I walk, we have Canicade on Mondays at the lounge at Gunjanistas, and I have a little health thing on my iPhone. I walked 3.8 kilometers on Monday at the lounge, just in the lounge.
Ah, nice. It's they all handy to have. I wish I had one of those when I was a supervisor, when I worked.
Well, I didn't realize that it gave how many steps I take and the kilometers I walk and stuff. So it's on your phone, Al. It's
That's right.
Just in the health thing, and it's set up on its own, and Yeah,
I found that out several years after owning one. So.
But anyways, I digress. I'm going to go back behind my baggie and let you guys start the show.
Alrighty, sounds good, man. All right, well, ladies, what do you think? Time to bring our guests into the program?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, at this time, I'd like to welcome, as I mentioned, a guest who has fought the law for helping patients with access to their cannabis medications. We'd like to welcome Kelly Kush to the PACE Radio Show. Hello, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hope you're well, too.
Good, good. Thanks for waiting there while we got everything arranged with our announcements on Marijane and Deb there. And now I'm going to hand the reins over to the two of them and let them start firing questions. I imagine Deb will go first. And, if the two of them go at you good, I won't have to jump in until break time.
Oh, I'm sure Kelly will say something that will pique your interest, Al.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure she will.
You can only resist for so long. I know you.
I know. You're right. Okay.
And Al mentioned that Kelly fought the law, but the law didn't win. I'll throw that in right now, and we'll certainly get to that as the conversation goes along.
That's right.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I actually was there and got to witness that. That was an amazing day.
Awesome.
It was October 17th.
That's great too.
Yeah.
For sure. And actually, maybe why don't we start there? Kelly, what put you in the position of fighting the law?
Well, the Cannabis Club, the Niagara Cannabis Club that I am the owner of, after 2.5 years, was raided here in St. Catharines. It was raided, and then we reopened again, and it was raided again. So after 17 court appearances and 2 lawyers, we had Paul Lewin as one of our lawyers, and Jack Lloyd came aboard at the end for the last few appearances, and all of our charges were withdrawn after 17 court appearances, and it happened on legalization, all charges withdrawn.
A day you'll never be able to forget for sure.
That's for sure.
You said all of your charges. How many of you in total were charged, Kelly?
So there was 4 medical patients that were charged along with myself, and we decided to go to court and fight it and, stand up for what was right. We were doing something to help other medical patients in need, and they're still in need till this day. We need compassion clubs.
Absolutely. Are there still many or any left in your area?
Well, no. The other one that was here as well was raided, and there's none in this area whatsoever. The closest would be, I would say, in Hamilton.
And how far away would that be?
So Hamilton's not that far from us. It's about a 35-minute drive, I'm going to guess. But still,
still a drive, and for
it is when patients don't. Some people don't have access to vehicles, or they may not have the cash to get there, or the cash to actually get the medicine that they need. So, and there is compassion clubs that do help people for next to nothing, and we need to do that. We need to stick with the grassroots. Patients helping patients.
Yes,
absolutely, and there's so much more than the actual physical help with the medicine that comes with a compassion club or a dispensary.
Absolutely. We try to make people self-sufficient. I would never want somebody to have to depend on me personally for their medicine. They should be able to grow it themselves, nice, clean, healthy medicine. of their choice, one that will work for them, as well as, we can have patients showing other patients how to grow their medicine and what to do with it. Not only smoke it, but make it into medibles and make it, using extractions and tinctures and infusions.
And that's such a valuable service as well. I know many of our dispensaries here in Nova Scotia also have a basic social component, a place where patients can gather and feel as if they've got a home away from home, and oftentimes a safe place to medicate.
Right, without alcohol being involved, such as a bar. A bar isn't the same as a lounge where people can go in and use their medicine.
Oh, lounges are a great spot for patients to go and socialize, and just while they're there, even gather more information and education and know-how.
You're so right about that. I had a lot of people come to my club that were actually shut-ins. For years, they haven't left their house. So, to have a compassion club or a lounge that people can go and gather, they can, get support from other patients as well.
Yeah, go ahead, Deb.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because while, not it's only the education and all that, but it's sharing their stories and what they've been through. Just that alone, just being able to talk to other people about your own situation or give them a spot to talk about it can be therapeutic as well.
Absolutely, knowing that you're not alone.
Yeah.
I had the privilege of being able to attend a court hearing. It was a bylaw challenge for a dispensary in the Halifax area here in Nova Scotia. And there was an Andrew Hathaway, who's a sociologist, who appeared by video as a witness, and he spoke to all of those things, and the fact that most of the patients who go to dispensaries are a vulnerable, misunderstood population just because of the basic stigmatization that comes attached to our medicine, and suddenly people finding a dispensary and going in, and that just sense of acceptance and welcoming and even family, if you would, when you walk through the door, and how it's so truly different from anything else.
That's well put, Debbie.
It was it was really awesome to have an opportunity to get to hear him addressing the court. With his wealth of experience and studies he'd done and knowledge, and certainly I hope he gets to testify in quite a few trials across this country.
Yeah, we need to get this done for once and for all.
So when
you said you had 17 court appearances, Kelly. How far did things actually progress through the courts? Did you actually go to trial?
Well, we stayed at pre-trial for most of it. I believe the first 4 or 5 we were in before the pre-trial, and we got our disclosure and stuff at that time. And then we went for the pre-trial negotiations, and during all of that time, that's where we sat in pre-trial, just negotiating. And they just kept coming back with different offers, more offers, and we just kept standing up for what we really believed in. We were going to go all the way, and they just withdrew the charges. Even, at some time while we were waiting in the hallways during court, the Crown Attorney would come out and, he would stay there for like an hour just watching and listening to, leaning against the wall, listening to what we were saying. I guess he wanted to really see if we were legit and actually, a group of people. Maybe he didn't know too much about cannabis, who knows, but charges withdrawn in the end, and that's how it should be. But we didn't get our stuff back, so that sucks, and we have to start from scratch again. But we're going to build a better foundation, and We're in the midst of making our nonprofit. We're almost done with that. And we'll carry forward. We have the MPP who said that she would be willing to help us move forward as well. So that's very supportive. I've already had a meeting. When we had our first raid, I had a meeting with the MPP. She actually invited me into her home and gave me a hug. She thanked me for what we were doing at our club and helping people in our community. So,
Wow.
you know, we'll move forward here. It just takes some time.
For sure, and you mentioned you're in the throes of rebuilding. I'm
Slow but sure.
assuming you're heading back towards having another dispensary?
I'm not really sure what we're doing. We're still, you know, educating people on what they need to be doing, directing them to the doctors who need to be directed. And we have some classes to show people how to become self-sufficient, as well as our continued monthly fundraisers that we were doing.
Yes, you've certainly been busy.
Yeah, we have been busy, which is good.
And you know, maybe, you know, they rated you and all that stuff, but it obviously hasn't stopped you. As you said, you're in the process of rebuilding.
Yeah, we're trying to rebuild. Like I said, we went to a local paralegal, and she's getting our nonprofit done. She's been working on that since just after the first raid, and we're waiting on a name check with that, and we're going to move forward. We're really excited about that.
Yeah, because, you know, so often when a you know, a compassion center, a club, whatever you may want to call it, gets raided, you know, it's the patients that are going there that lose out, and nobody, you know, in law enforcement and stuff ever seems to think, well, you know, what about those patients? What about those people? You know, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? You know, it's like starting all over for them as well.
Absolutely, because as I said earlier, a lot of them can't access the licensed producers for many reasons, and most of it is affordability.
Yeah, oh, it is. You know,
as we know, the Cannabis Act was set up just as a big money grab, and then they threw the medical cannabis patients in with that. And now, by helping people, we face even more charges. I believe there's 42 new laws that people can break now with this new Cannabis Act. It's just ridiculous. This is a plant, and people need access. We have endocannabinoid systems, and, you know, people are really lacking. So, you know, we need to use this as food and get our bodies activated. Get people off those opiates.
Yeah, well, as they say, you know, endocannabinoid deficiency.
Absolutely. That's what a lot of the diseases, I believe, are. Once you activate that cannabinoid system, you know, a lot of people's issues start diminishing, and they're given their lives back.
Yeah.
I know I've gone over the last 20 years from being in a position where I was rapidly heading toward a wheelchair, and now I very rarely even use my cane.
Amazing.
And it's all thanks to cannabis.
And how long have you been using cannabis for?
Oh, many, many years, but certainly from a medical perspective, it will be 20 years next month since I was quasi-diagnosed with having MS, and in 19 years it will be 19 years ago I received the official diagnosis.
Wow.
In reacting to the medications, cannabis is basically the only thing I can consume, but it's been a godsend.
For many. I've been using cannabis for 10 years now. Before that, I never used it. My children used it before I did. I actually was the mom who phoned the police on my children when I found cannabis in their, in their rooms. I was very uneducated about cannabis. Now I have to scream it to the world.
My, how times have changed, eh?
Absolutely.
Yes. All right, ladies. It's time for us to go for break.
That half hour went quickly.
It does. It actually gave us a few extra minutes. Well, I guess we actually, because we did start late, I thought we were giving us an extra couple of minutes, but being we did start late, we're shorting ourselves there. But, well, we're going to go for a break. Okay, tonight, our bumper music, I usually connect music to our guest here on the program. And what I've done is I've grabbed a song by a lady by the name of L.V. I'm going to mess this up. L.V. Meseka, I believe is what I always get hard last names wrong, but I'm trying. And we're going to hear a song called The War on Us. And it's about people like yourselves, Kelly, that have been arrested and, fought for the rights for patients to have cannabis. Alrighty. When we return, Debbie, Marijane, who I'll get more involved in the conversation after the break, and I will continue our talk with Kelly Kush. You're listening to the PACE Radio Show. We are live here at 420radio.ca.
So what are you doing? Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Legacy 420 has medicinal and recreational products down to a science, literally. With 2 biochemists on staff and a chief scientific advisor, every product is tested in the Legacy 420 laboratory. Legacy 420, Niagara. Open 9 to 9 every day. Visit legacy420.com.
Are you looking for cannabis news, education, and people's opinions? Are you looking to learn what Canadian and international cannabis advocates are doing, not only now, but what got them to this point in their lives, and what does the future hold for them? Do you want to learn how patients are using cannabis as their daily medication, or learn how their cannabis use helps them with their medical condition? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then I'm going to suggest to you to tune in to Lifestyle Radio. Catch their live weekly shows and have your questions and concerns answered and find the experience you're looking for. Monday, catch your weekly news broadcast with the Reef Reporters. Then on Wednesday, get several hours worth of cannabis public education. We get things started with Cannabis and Coffee with Marijuana. Finish up your evening with the award-winning PACE Radio Show with Al Graham, and no week would be complete without tuning into Friday night's program, the 420 Radio Show featuring Al Rapp and the 420 radio crew, Marijane Baker and Marcel Gignac. Cannabis is a lifestyle, and you can catch all your cannabis lifestyle information right here at 420radio.ca. Tune in to DJ Passion from the land of Ganja, the island of Jamaica, when he comes to you live every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 420radio.ca.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Cannabis, your friendly neighborhood Campbellford head shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Let us help you grow your 4 with weekly Tuesday night gardening sessions for beginners. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Cannabis, more than just a head shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
He don't do no alcohol, he don't do no hard drugs at all.
welcome back to the award-winning PACE Radio Show, and we are live here at 420radio.ca. Today on the program, we're joined by our guest, the founder of the Niagara Cannabis Club, plus our joint host, Debbie Stutlz-Giffin of the Maritime Representative for Medical Marijuana, and Marijane Baker, who is joining us as a rotating joint host. Before we bring Kelly back in for the question, I've got something I want to throw at Marijane. And that is, Marijane, with you joining our rotation. I'm sure some of our listeners listen to the 420 radio show as well as our program, but maybe not everybody knows anything about you. So you've got a quick little bio of yourself you want to let our listeners know?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
What do I want to say about myself? There's so much to say.
Nothing like putting you right on the spot, eh?
I know. And I hate labels, too. I could stand here and tell you I'm a mother, I'm a talk show co-host. I could tell you all these things. But the best thing for you to do is literally just go to Google and Google my name.
Oh, really?
I tell everyone, just Google Marijane with an I, all one word, Marijane Baker, and you'll have videos and pictures and articles and all sorts of info you can read through. Should keep you busy for a couple hours.
So there they'll find out that you're a patient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, they'll find out I'm a patient. I'm an advocate. I spend most of my time teaching people that cannabis is not as harmful as what they've been told. I try and educate in a fun way, and I don't know, I like breaking down the stigmas one at a time.
Yeah. Now, your name insinuates that you like to bake.
I might like to bake. The only issue is I haven't got down the concentrations, like how to make it so that way it's not too strong. So I end up baking something and then it's way too strong, and then I end up gifting my goodies to other people, which isn't that bad because, it's their gain, but, I love to bake, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, good. All right, Kelly, Deb, we were talking before the break about the raid at the Niagara Cannabis Club. Still got some more questions on that, Deb?
Well, I'm just wondering if there's anything we didn't touch on before the break, Kelly, that you'd want to add about all of that.
No, just that we have a fundraiser this Saturday here in St. Catharines, and keep watch to my Facebook page of the different upcoming events, such as our cooking classes and our soap classes, topical classes, and 420 events, things like that.
Did you say soap classes?
Yeah, we teach people how to make soap and their own topicals.
That's an infused soap?
That's correct.
Interesting.
And you mentioned a fundraiser on Saturday. What shape will that be taking?
So what we do at our fundraisers is we have over a dozen vendors. So they represent all kinds of different things. And we also serve dinner all day, which is a homemade lasagna or cabbage rolls or penne noodles. Comes with all the fixins, salads, desserts, drinks, freshly made bread.
You realize I'm drooling on my keyboard.
Wow, really?
Too bad you weren't closer. $10, you can't go wrong. We also have takeout, as well as some raffle and penny tables.
Wow. Now Marijane, did you mention earlier? Do you know Kelly? Have you met Kelly?
Yes, I've met Kelly a couple times. I have had the pleasure of attending one of her fundraisers and actually being a vendor at another one of her fundraisers for Shatterizer. But I will say, not only have I eaten a couple delicious meals, but I've also I've won a few prizes while there and picked up some awesome stuff from a few of the vendors. So it's a really good time. It's a family event. You can bring your kids. It's super chill. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And Kelly, don't you also sell tickets for like prizes and stuff? I think I've seen there was like a quarter pounder.
We have all
Was there
kinds
cheese
of
on that?
all kinds. With the works. Yeah, we do have all different kinds of raffles. So that's our mystery raffle.
Now,
Yes, we did. I remember, oh my God, was it like maybe 2 years ago? I bought tickets on one of your raffles, and you and your mother and I were on we're on Skype or Facebook Live or something while you were both frantically scratching the tickets.
So yeah, sometimes
had
we have a
one.
board, and it has 50 squares on it, and we offer the squares for $5 each, and you can win $100 worth of scratch tickets. So Debbie and myself live in different provinces, and Debbie won, so we could have had the choice of us mailing her all the tickets or us scratching them while she's watching. So myself, Nancy, and my mom would scratch, and then whatever she won, we just sent her the money. But we had a ball scratching $100 worth of tickets, and that's one of the things that we do is that board each month. And we do accept email transfers for the numbers on the board as well. So if you want one of the squares, just let me know.
So folks,
Hey, Kelly. Sorry, I just want to ask, do you still have any of those coins left?
Yes, I also have some copper cannabis coins. I have 2 different types, which I've posted the pictures of them. And they're quite nice coins. They're pretty heavy as well. They weigh 1 ounce each. So, and I've had them in the past, different ones, and they're very popular. So if anybody wants coins, all the cash for that goes to the Cannabis Club and helping people in our, locally who are in need. The coins are $10 each, or 3 for $25.
Yeah, that's actually how I met Kelly. I'm a coin collector.
Oh.
And I came across the coins, and I came across her story and heard why she was raising the money, and was like, wow, I need to get behind this woman and her cause. And I immediately tried helping. Yeah, I tried helping any way I could.
You certainly did, and you came out here a few times to help us too, as well as help, attend our court case, which is very important. Anybody going to court, please go out and support them. Show the courts that, that we're standing together. Yeah. Even, if you're not a medical patient, come out as a recreational or just as, a supporter. We do need to fill the courts.
It's huge, and the judiciary certainly are paying attention. They notice, and it makes a difference when someone's in the court and a dozen or 20 people stand up as they're leaving the court, and it's obvious that they're all together. In Nova Scotia, we've had several judges comment on the people that are there in support of whoever's been charged.
Right, and when they asked how long my case was going to be, the lawyer's response was, it's going to be a month-long case. And the judge just spread his arms and said, a month-long case? What is this? What's going on here? It's way bigger than anybody could ever imagine. This is something that needs to be done all across Canada. Put an end to it for once and for all. This money grab for the government is an embarrassment.
Well, what doesn't make sense to me is that cannabis has been legal for medical use for 18 years.
And why do we keep getting arrested over and over? I've never been arrested in my life until I became a medical marijuana patient.
And we don't have any brick and mortar stores to go to, but yet 3-4 months after cannabis legalization, there's 200 recreational stores. So
and where did all this cannabis come from? They certainly were only allowed to grow recreationally after the October 17th. That same day they had recreational weed for people, and they couldn't have grown weed that fast.
Interesting, in Nova Scotia, we've never had our provincial government once speak up on behalf of medical patients. They've not extended themselves to the federal government to say, wait a minute, whoa, what about all of these critically and chronically ill people who are constitutionally entitled to cannabis as medicine, and you're screwing up and you're overlooking people? Not once. But by
No,
God,
you're
2 months
right.
after legalization, our finance minister was all over Health Canada and the health minister going, where's our cannabis? We only have half of the cannabis we were promised for our stores. And it just blows me
Yeah.
away. It's just
Like
It's
here we are in
ridiculous.
Ontario. No, we restricted to 25 stores in the whole.
25. Hamilton has more than 25.
Yeah.
25 is ridiculous. And you know, they didn't even have any medicine for patients. I know several children that weren't able to get their medicine, and they're legal medical marijuana patients. It's ridiculous
Yeah,
when the children are going without medicine as well.
it's so sad. I know in one of the cannabis outlets here in Nova Scotia, and it's attached to a liquor store. I heard people coming out of the cannabis outlet, looking across in the line that was snaking around all of the alcohol and people waiting to get in to buy their cannabis. And there was a woman sitting in a wheelchair who was in tears because she was afraid that by the time she got to the cannabis outlet, the strain that would be effective possibly for helping her with pain would be all gone. And that's the position that they're putting medical people in, whether they like to hear it or not. It's the
Not to
truth.
mention, that woman had to be out in a lineup waiting for her medicine, right? When she should be. That's crazy.
Yeah, and
Overpriced medicine at that. Overpriced taxed medicine.
Yeah, taxed. That's the
Taxed.
huge part. The only
Fucking
medicine in all of Canada that's taxed.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, and 3 weeks previous to this, all of the dispensaries within a half of an hour of that particular cannabis outlet had been raided. The search warrants that had been issued for all of them weren't just for a 24-hour period. They didn't expire until October 17th.
Oh, wow.
The day that legalization kicked in.
Wow.
Yeah, they meant business.
Yeah, well, I think probably every province formed some type of cannabis, law enforcement group that went out to start raiding everybody.
I don't understand why they want to raid people like myself at Compassion Club. They certainly don't want to help the people that I help. They don't want to have the people crying on their shoulder saying, I have no money for medicine. They're not giving out free medicine, even with their compassion so-called pricing.
They don't even want to be associated as medical, as they don't even have employees training on that. Here in Ontario, we have a 4-hour course for people how to ask questions, like how to ask for ID and to tell whether somebody is apparently intoxicated by cannabis. But they don't want the medical patient to ask anything to do with medical.
And they don't have the answers anyways that other
that's
patients
exactly
could
true.
help.
Yeah, that's right. They don't. So
It's a sorry state of affairs all the way around.
Yeah, people are suffering. I as you mentioned something about the kids and their medicine. I know there was some parents there that were involved with social media where their child's medicine was no longer available to them. They couldn't even get it anymore. They had to find another strain that would hopefully work.
And if you helped that child, you could face 14 years in prison.
Correct. Yeah.
Ridiculous. Cannabis doesn't harm people.
And the truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah. What's that saying? The laws against the plant are more harmful than the plant itself.
Yes, that was one of the quotes from the Senate committee report.
It was it?
The harms of prohibition were greater than the substance itself.
Yeah.
Oh,
more or less.
True. Yeah.
But God, you know, they'd say that was 17 years ago, and a lot might have changed since then.
No, they're still raiding people.
Yeah.
People are still going to jail, you know. Yeah, I could just imagine, like, you know, the relief of Kelly and everybody connected to their thing. You know, when they got told that they weren't, you know, the charges were dropped and so it's a lot of stress now on people to be involved in those situations, and it was good to see that, you know, Kelly, you guys came out of that without that, and not unscathed, obviously. You said you lost everything. They took everything, right?
Yeah. Even sent me for an extra day in prison so I can think about it, what it's like in there before I help the next person.
Even though just spend an extra day, wasn't that kind of a Christ?
Yeah, that's pretty.
So
yeah.
Was that right after you were raided, Kelly?
It was after the second time, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, apparently somebody probably had some complaint about you helping patients, helping people, helping the sick.
Well, my club was open for the 2.5 years, and after 2.5 years, another place opened, and then another place opened, and the other two places were raided within a month of being open. The one of them was actually raided within a week. So all of their people, because they were helping people recreationally, all of their customers decided to come over to my club. And, well, I wasn't helping people recreationally, I was helping people medically. And because people didn't get help, they didn't like that. So they started complaining. And once the complaints go in, then you know what, they have no choice but to really shut you down. So
They have to act on them.
yes.
It wasn't as if they were complaining about you being a disruptance to the community, to the area.
Absolutely none. No, we hadn't had any complaints as those. We haven't had a problem. So whatever hoops the city made me jump through, which was a lot, and the fire marshals as well, you know, as well as the health board, because they came in to make sure that, you know, we had a health board approved kitchen because we were cooking our cookies there. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we jumped through all the hoops and we did that. 2.5 years later, well, we helped a lot of people during that time, and that's what matters.
If you're going, go ahead.
I'm sure the neighbors had nothing but praises to sing on your behalf.
Yeah, not at first because they weren't sure what was going on, but, you know, after a while they understood what was going on.
Yeah,
it's all about education.
You got all those approvals, the you know, health board and all that stuff, so on and so forth. I could see you being really confused about being raided from the police when you've got, you know, support from the municipality.
That's what our MPP said when I went to go and see her, because at that time she was only one of our city councilors. So, you know, now she's our MPP, so we can maybe get a little further in our steps. She couldn't understand why, because, you know, the city actually had a meeting about my place because there was another club opened at the same time as mine. The other club was asked to close down, and they did, and mine continued. So the city already had a meeting about me. They knew exactly what I was doing and how I was helping people. I had doctors sending patients directly to my club, especially at end-of-life people when they didn't know. They didn't have anywhere else to go, and the doctors didn't have any further help that they can help them with, right? So they're like, hey, go to the Cannabis Club. Maybe they could help you. So,
yeah. You know, even having doctors sending patients to you, that's...
With prescriptions that had my address on it. It was like, I'm not a pharmacist.
Yeah.
And they wrote it in just like, you know, my tincture bottles. I had different kinds of tinctures for people, and, you know, it explained, and the prescription actually came over in certain tinctures. So it was quite comical, and I had a tester, so, you know, all my stuff was tested before we gave it to anybody. So was funny that a doctor would send somebody. A doctor actually come to my club as well, and that's when we started getting the signing doctor. He checked out everything, and then he told me he was a doctor, and he said, you know, my friend's a signing doctor, and I want you to send all the patients to him. And we did that, and we sent probably at least 800 patients to this one doctor.
Nice.
So, and he signed them all, and he started signing some of the children, which was great too.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Because there's not very many doctors that will deal with the children.
No.
And the irony of that, I find, because they'll say, oh, well, it hasn't been tested on kids, but neither has any other drug that they prescribe to children that have so many disastrous side effects that have negative repercussions to their health.
Absolutely. Let's face it, those pharmaceuticals are for long-term patients. So, you know, if one pill leads to another, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure, and they don't care that it's children that they're pushing some of these drugs at.
Yeah, well, some of the
Right.
commercials you see on TV, they say, you know, not to be administered to people under 18 or people under, 12 and stuff like that.
I think it's up to us to educate ourselves a little bit too. When a doctor hands you a prescription, you know, talk to the pharmacist
Yeah.
about it. They're very knowledgeable, or even go online and look it up yourself.
Yeah. Ask more questions of your doctor.
That's right. Well, doctors don't always have a lot of knowledge. Let's remember they only need 50% to pass, right? So are they getting the stuff half the time right?
Oh, so they can forget half the stuff they learned.
Yeah, so what are we at, 25% now maybe?
Oh, God.
Stick with those nurses, they're smart.
All right, ladies. What are you saying? Ready go for another break?
It is about that time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just shortly after the top of the hour, shortly after 9. Well, 9 here, 10 down there on the East Coast. 2 here on the East Coast, right? Deb, Marijane, you're down there right now.
Yeah, I'm here until Friday.
Oh, you
Right.
must be freezing your butt off.
Oh, I got a space heater. I'm good.
And it is slowly warming up, but the
Yeah,
last
it's supposed to be 0 tomorrow, isn't it?
Yay. The last few days have been brutally cold and unusually windy.
Yeah, you guys seem to, well, you get a mixture of our weather and the stuff that comes up along the eastern U.S. Side there as well. So you sort of get double whacked. I know.
Thanks
Nasty
for the
weather you guys have.
reminder,
You're welcome. No problem. Anytime.
Yeah, what are friends
Okay,
for,
well,
right?
yeah. All right, commercial time. Tonight, our featured artist is Elvie Masica. And you're going to hear more of her song, The War on Us. And then afterwards, Debbie, Marijane, and I will continue this conversation with Kelly Kush. You're listening to the PACE Radio Show, and we are live here at 420radio.ca.
Hey, this is Cheech. And this is Chong. And you're listening to Lifestyle Radio. What is it? Lifestyle Radio. Say it one more time. 420 Radio? Ooh.
Hang up and try again.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Call it war on drugs, but it's a war on us. You're taking him away. Please don't take my daddy to jail. My brother, my sister, my mother. Please don't take him to jail.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Cannabis, your friendly neighborhood Campbellford head shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Let us help you grow your 4 with weekly Tuesday night gardening sessions for beginners. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Cannabis, more than just a head shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking for cannabis news, education, and people's opinions? Are you looking to learn what Canadian and international cannabis advocates are doing, not only now, but what got them to this point in their lives, and what does the future hold for them? Do you want to learn how patients are using cannabis as their daily medication, or learn how their cannabis use helps them with their medical condition? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then I'm going to suggest to you to tune in to Lifestyle Radio. Catch their live weekly shows and have your questions and concerns answered and find the experience you're looking for. Monday, catch your weekly news broadcast with the Reef Reporters. Then on Wednesday, get several hours worth of cannabis public education. We get things started with Cannabis and Coffee with Marijuana. Finish up your evening with the award-winning PACE Radio Show with Al Graham, and no week would be complete without tuning into Friday night's program, the 420 Radio Show featuring Al Rapp and the 420 Radio crew, Marijane Baker and Marcel Gagnac. Cannabis is a lifestyle, and you can catch all your cannabis lifestyle information right here at 420radio.ca. Tune in to DJ Passion from the land of Ganja, the island of Jamaica, when he comes to you live every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 420radio.ca.
Legacy 420 has medicinal and recreational products down to a science, literally. With 2 biochemists on staff and a chief scientific advisor, every product is tested in the Legacy 420 laboratory. Legacy 420, Tyne to Niagara. Open 9 to 9 every day. Visit legacy420.com.
Three generations of hemp, cannabis, marijuana prohibition greatly contribute to planetary deforestation, pollution, and ozone destruction. Let hemp compete in construction, paper, fiber, fuel, nutritional, and pharmaceutical corporations. Cannabis has been safe, efficient medicine for many illnesses throughout all generations and for natural relaxation. Still, we spend hundreds of billions of dollars in
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for tuning in to the PACE Radio Show. We are being broadcasted here live at 420radio.ca, but you can also find us podcasted afterwards. I know you can't always catch the live shows, but we're, YouTube, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Sonos, Spotify. We're on those. You can find us on them, as well as other music apps that are available out there. Tonight, we feature the music of Elvi Musica, Musika. That's how you spell her last name. And the song was called The War on Us. Elvi is a vocal cannabis advocate and relies on cannabis to keep her glaucoma under control. She entered a federal program back in 1988 and said that her experience with cannabis is proof that it works as a medicine. If you enjoyed the bumper song, you can find more of it online as well as on YouTube. Tonight on the program, we're joined by our guest Kelly Kush of the Niagara Compassion for Cannabis Club, and my joint host, Debbie Stutlz-Giffin, who is with the Maritimers United for Medical Marijuana, and Marijane Baker, who is now with the PACE Radio Show. But she will be appearing Friday, right? You're with Al and Marcel and everybody Friday, right? With the 420 Radio Show this week?
Yes, that's true. I'm going to be there very briefly in and out just because I'm going to be in the airport. So I'm super excited about the guest we have coming on. So I'm definitely not going to miss it.
Did you want to mention the guest, or is it a secret?
Oh, yeah, I can mention it. We're going to have a company on called The Cushion. You can find them on Instagram under The Cushion 420, as in Kush, Kush. So.
Nice, nice. That would be interesting to hear that. Got any stories behind the cushion you want to? No.
Pardon, what's that?
You got any questions? Any little story behind the cushion that you can sort of maybe give a bit of a teaser?
Well, I will say if you have Instagram, you should look up Gary _ Cushion, Kushhion. He's got his own Instagram page now, and Al Rapp has got his, I don't know if it's his brother or his cousin, but he's got Larry either way.
Cousin Larry.
Cousin Larry, we're told. Cousin Larry. Okay. There we go. All right, super. Did you want to start off with a question in this next segment, or should we hand the questions over to Deb?
Well, I guess I could just ask, I'm curious to know with Kelly's court case, there's another court case that's very similar to yours out in, is that Alberta or Saskatchewan? It's that Jerry Martin's case?
Jerry Martin's in Saskatchewan. That's right.
Okay. I know he's been fighting for a couple of years now.
Yeah, his case actually started before mine. And he's
and
not
it's
even
still
at
ongoing.
the pre-trial. That's right.
Yeah.
He's not even at pre-trial yet. The last I seen him posting, he was starting his pre-trial negotiations in March.
Wow.
It's just crazy how the court system is being clogged up with cases like this. I don't know if people are familiar with Jerry Martin, but he ran a compassion club in Saskatchewan, and he donated over $100,000 to his community. So what's going on here? This is a plant that's helping many people, and they're clogging up the court systems. It's just, not even necessary.
He also helped patients big time as well.
Absolutely. And speaking of which, we just had I can't even call it a constitutional challenge, but the intent was to mount a constitutional challenge with a dispensary in Nova Scotia in a town called Antigonish. They were set to go to trial in the fall. The Nova Scotia Medical Association of Cannabis Dispensaries sought intervener status. The judge said, no, you can't do that because your association represents people just like this dispensary, so you're too much alike. But we'll extend the time for the trial. We'll have it 5 days, the end of February. It started on Monday. There were 13 of us that were supposed to be patient witnesses. We'd all submitted affidavits. Last Friday, we heard that only 4 of the patient witnesses would be required in court, that the other 9, they'd accept our affidavits, but there was no need for us to come whatsoever. By lunchtime, it was clear that the proceedings weren't going to be going much further. The judge had, over the recess, was studying case law, and I'm not there to be able to comment as to the intricacies of what went down. But after lunch, the Crown came back, said that they were moving to adjourn the charges for Jillian Sampson, who ran the dispensary, provided the owners of the dispensary would swallow a corporate fine. They agreed to do that. The next morning, yesterday, they went back to discover that it would be a $50,000 fine, and they were given 3 years to pay it. The judge was pissed that that much court time had been wasted. The rest of the week still, wide open because the court case had been squelched.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And there are 3 dispensaries going through a court in Kentville. One in particular, NCCI, has been back. They're going back again in 2 weeks' time, hoping to be able to enter a plea. And this will be the 3rd time they've gone to enter a plea. But their co-accused, who owned the dispensary, wasn't there the first day because they had just decided to charge him. So he hadn't been served. When we went to court yesterday for them to enter their plea, he wasn't there again because they had just tried to contact him on Monday, and he was in Ontario. So these 2 individuals have been told to come back again in 2 weeks' time to enter a plea, but they've been given no assurance that this 3rd individual, their co-accused, will even be back in the province at that point.
Wow.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Heidi Chartrand still has not been able to enter a plea. Her two co-accused have entered pleas, but she's still working at trying to obtain disclosure. She has most of it, but there are components missing where when she was sick in the cells, when they had her remanded in the RCMP detachment, and when one of the lead investigators were questioning her, parts of that were missing. So she's not prepared to enter a plea until she gets all of her disclosure. And she's been back to court about 3 times, still asking for these bits and pieces of her disclosure.
Do they say why they're not giving them to her?
Oh, the cops just don't seem to be able to find it, just like they can't find her vehicle keys and they can't find the cell phone for one of her bud tenders.
Did you go through stuff like this, Kelly, as well?
Oh yeah. Not only my club was raided, my house was raided, and one of our members' house was raided, as well as my parents' house was raided. So they go all out.
Your parents too. Wow.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good.
When they raided Heidi's home, they took a safe out in the yard and were beating it, trying to open it, and one of the things contained in the safe was ammunition.
Oh goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
When they could have just said, "Can you open this?"
No one was home, but they certainly could have waited.
Yes.
Oh,
The
yeah,
safe
for
wasn't
sure.
going anywhere. They were there.
Absolutely.
And then if the person they raid doesn't give up the access to it, then go ahead and destroy it. There's still ammunition inside a safe. That could be risky.
And them banging the crap out of the safe. How cute is that?
Kaboom.
Yeah.
That'll wake you up.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see, what else can we touch on there, Kelly, with your.
I'd like to add
Sure.
that,
Yeah.
the cost of, a court case to do a constitutional challenge is unbelievable. Jerry Martin trying to raise money through GoFundMe and different, events and stuff like that. I think he's up to $80,000 that he's already forked out for a lawyer. And you know what? He's only starting pre-trial.
Yeah.
To do a constitutional challenge is hundreds of thousands of dollars. We've been through this with the Allard case, and it's the patients fighting and fighting and fighting. It's so important that people go to these court cases. If you're close enough to get to one of these cannabis court cases, go and support these people. They were there when you needed your medicine at a convenience.
Now, do you guys operate a court support program like what Deb does out on the East Coast?
Are you talking about a support group for people that go to court?
Yeah, like Deb, you guys down there at Mom, you have where people go to the courts and support them by being there.
Right,
and it's all done through Mom.
Oh,
Huh?
right.
We call it a court support initiative program.
And it's working well because you know what? If I can see it all the way in Ontario and I support you even though I can't be there, people are seeing. So they just need to get off their couches and stop being the armchair activist and get out there and support people. We can't do it alone. I mean, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. Thank goodness our court case, the charges were withdrawn. After 17 appearances, it still cost us, $14,000, something like that. So.
Yeah, which is still, money that has to be, found somewhere.
Absolutely.
And it seems so antiquated that 18 years later, after the program was introduced, we're still having court challenges and patients in dispensaries still going to court and some
And
people having gone to jail. It's so wrong.
And I suppose it's only going to get worse with these new 40 new laws that people can get arrested for now.
Well,
I
you know the
haven't.
thing, the thing
Sorry.
that really the thing that really frustrates me is, like, for example, well, everybody knows I'm a patient, but as I'm traveling, I'm in Halifax right now. I'm in a completely separate province. If I run out of cannabis, I run out of my medication. Even as a medical patient in the country that I live in, I still cannot go and get medicine from a store. Like, I can't go to a pharmacy and pick up my medication.
Right.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, and that's what I mentioned earlier. 18 years after legalization, we can't do that, which is wrong.
See, we need to take that back to the courts.
Yeah, Shoppers Drug Mart, they have the right to sell cannabis, but theirs is still mail order. You still can't walk in and get it.
How am I supposed to get it mailed? Like if I'm traveling
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
road and I don't even know where I'm going to be tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Like, how do I get it? Where am I mailing it to?
Doesn't do you any good whatsoever.
No, it's ridiculous.
And Shoppers is going to be such a sterile environment to go
Yeah.
in and purchase cannabis.
Yeah, I know. Eh?
I have a friend who's a retired pharmacist, and she really has a hard time with that whole concept, having seen the negative attitude of her colleagues toward cannabis. She used to joke about people coming in with their pill bottles to have their prescriptions refilled. She'd uncap them, and the first thing she'd catch would be a whiff of pot coming out of the container. And she'd take it out back and very quickly and discreetly fill it and take it and give it back to the patient and say, "Next time," she said, "you'd better wash that out before you come in, because my colleagues aren't as receptive as I am, and here," she'd slide them my name and number. "Here's somebody you need to talk to make this legal and legitimate for you."
That's beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, it's good. It's good of her to be that way, to help out the person by giving out your information. Let's see what we got here. We got almost 25 after 9. Let's slide over into shout out time. All right. Unless you guys have any more questions for Kelly?
Well, Kelly, I don't think you told folks, particularly in your neck of the woods, where they might be able to find you Saturday, should they like to come have some cabbage rolls, lasagna, or panini. I'm voting lasagna.
Oh, good.
Even
It's
though I can't be
homemade,
there.
and it's meat in it, so meat lasagna. Yummy. So
Yeah.
we're over here in St. Catharines, and we'll be at 3 Leaside Drive in St. Catharines, which is just over near the Mandarin restaurant. So we're easy to find, just have to follow the signs. And we start at 1 till 7, and dinner is served all day. Takeout available. It's $10. Come check out the vendors. Come say hi to me and hang out.
And will your mom be there helping with the cooking again?
Yeah, she'll be in the back there and cooking up a storm and swearing. She loves to swear.
I love your mother.
Then she'd be good with where Deb's going, 420 Radio Show. Deb,
I know. I was thinking when
She's
you
great.
talked about the swearing, I thought of my mom right away. She'd fit in perfect.
We'd go well in the kitchen together.
You just imagine. All right. So yeah, Kelly, shout out, person, place, a thing, website where people can find you, so on and so forth.
Well, it's the Niagara Cannabis Club, and we have a group page. You can also follow me. I'm very easy to find online. Just look up Kelly Kush, and then you'll find me.
Or they can search. I think I found you on Twitter as the Niagara Compassion or Niagara Cannabis Club.
Yeah, but I don't know how to figure out how to work that, so I'm done with the Twitter thing. Sorry.
Okay, well, at least you know it's there. there's a message there for you to retweet for tonight's show. All right, so people can find you on Facebook then at the Niagara Cannabis Club then, right?
That's right.
Okay, all right, Deb?
I'd like to give a shout out to Maritimers Unite for Medical Marijuana Society. I'll give one last shameless plug. You can find us on Facebook under the Maritimers Unite for Medical Marijuana Society. We're on Instagram under Mum Society. And we have our annual fundraiser coming up this summer of Harvest Fest, July 19th to 21st, and hope that some of you are able to join us for a weekend-long rustic camping, awesome East Coast music, lots of vendors, fun and neat things to do all weekend long. And Al and Marijane were actually both able to join us last year.
Yeah, plan on being there again this year.
Yay.
Sounds like fun.
Yay, nice. Very nice.
Maybe you'll be able to putter along too, Kelly.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice drive.
Yeah, it's only a few hours, you know.
I'd say.
Less than a day.
Are you talking yourself into it, Al?
Yeah, well, you just never know. The timing just has to be right. Marijane, if you got a shout out you want to throw out somebody? Person, place, thing?
Let's see. Well, I could do the shameless plug, but I mean, I'm going to be sticking around, so there'll be lots of time for that. I would like to bring up something that we discussed with Jack Lloyd on the last 420 radio show, which was actually the fact that he's trying to collect affidavits from people. Anybody who has suffered within this medical system that the government has put us in, whether it's like Kelly trying to help patients, or whether you're a patient yourself and you had an issue with the mail order system, he would like to gather those types of statements. So I think he said he's working out of John Conroy's office. And the email for that, I have it actually in front of me just because I pulled it up just in case, is reception@johnconroy.com. So if you get in touch with them, they'll direct you and get you in the right spot, so that way we can get this started, because the government definitely has to know that we're not going to stand for this. We're not going to be swept under the carpet with recreation, with legalization, and lumped with everybody else.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And Jack's also interested in hearing from people who have been unjustly and unconstitutionally charged with the new driving laws under Bill C-46.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good. We got to get that started, too.
And before we sign off, I just want to throw one quick little thing in that really has nothing to do with shout-outs, but it does have to do with driving. We've known that RCMP have the capability to take someone to a local hospital to have their blood tested, with that person's permission, of course. But I heard from someone yesterday who owns a hydro shop, who said he had a patient come in who had been pulled over that morning by an RCMP officer and had his blood taken roadside by a finger prick.
Really? Wow. Oh.
And that's the first I've heard of anyone being subjected to that, with the intent of having it, of course, checked to see if there was THC present.
That may be one of those ones that Jack might be interested in.
Absolutely, and of course, with anybody having their blood tested, it's going to take 3 to 4 months before they hear back.
Wow.
What a waste of taxpayers' money.
You got that hanging over you for 4 months. Great.
Yeah. Wondering what day the shoe's going to drop, and you'll have to start a legal challenge, or just to come and curl up and not drive for a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus the embarrassment of them putting it in the newspaper.
Yeah. Got to warn society. Yeah.
Yes, we have someone in Nova Scotia that was tested with the Drager 5000, and she was told by the RCMP that if she hadn't consumed cannabis in the last 20 minutes, it wouldn't show up. She hadn't consumed since the night before and thought she was safe. But of course she tested positive. Had someone who could come and collect her children because she was taking them to school, and someone that could come and grab her vehicle so it didn't get impounded.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's horrible.
But she's been in touch with Jack, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
He's running all across Canada for everybody.
Sounds like
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Yeah, exactly. Mary Jane, are you filling your bong again?
Whoa, we're almost done, right?
Yeah.
Bubble.
Yes, we are.
That's
okay.
a celebration bubble.
Yeah. Okay, so Mary Jane, your first show with us, where you get 90 minutes of interviewing guests, and be interesting to see what kind of guests you get for the program. And that starts in a month's time, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All righty. I'll be talking to you more before then. So.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Next week, Kim Cooper joins me here at the Pace Radio Show. You can find Pace. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Thank yous, as always, go out to our sponsors, the friendly and helpful folks at Legacy 420, who I'd like to say is Canada's largest First Nations cannabis dispensary. They can be found at legacy420.com. Oh, Kelly, have you ever been there?
Where's that?
Legacy 420.
No, I haven't.
You'll have to check it out. You'll have to check this place out. Yeah, it's quite the place. He's got his own processing facility in there for making edibles, drinks, beverages, testing. He's got 2 accredited lab techs that work in there, as well as a very well-known researcher in Dr. Paul Hornby.
Oh, Dr. Hornby. I've met him in Toronto.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, that's right. So, all right. Thank yous also go to our producer, Al Raff, of 420radio.ca. And also thank you to you, Kelly, for coming on to the show and telling us all about your court case.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Always thanks to you, Deb, for everything you've done over the years. It's not goodbye. It's just I'll talk to you later.
Absolutely, and it's been my pleasure, Al. It's been a blast.
Yes, same here. To you, Mary Jane, welcome to the program. As I said, you started again on the 27th of March.
All right, thank you, and I will talk to you, Deb, on Friday.
For sure. Enjoy the rest of your week in Nova Scotia.
Yes, I will.
And maybe you guys will get together, if you can.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, maybe you'll have the show together on Friday.
Oh, I'll be in the airport.
Oh, right, yeah, that's right, the airport.
With her bong.
With her bong, yeah.
And Gary Cushion.
And Gary Kush. I saw the check-in luggage. I need to sleep on the plane. All right. Also, one more thank you. And that goes out to our listeners. Thank you for tuning in the program. Thank you. And good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Legacy 420 has medicinal and recreational products down to a science, literally. With 2 biochemists on staff and a chief scientific advisor, every product is tested in the Legacy 420 laboratory. Legacy 420, Niagara. Open 9 to 9 every day. Visit legacy420.com.
So what are you doing? Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.